Indian economy. Lessons from www.iasgeneralstudies.com. Indian economy on the eve of the independence. We are going to study about Indian economy on the eve of independence. The structure of India's present day economy is not just of the current making. It has its root steeped in history, particularly in the period when India was under the British rule, which lasted for almost 2 centuries before India finally won its independence on the 15th August 1947. So, India was under the British rule almost 2 centuries. So the sole purpose of the British colonial rule in India was to reduce the country to being a feeder economy for the Great Britain's own rapidly expanding modern industrial base. So an understanding of the exploitative nature of this relation is essential for any assessment of the kind and level of development which the Indian economy has been able to attain over the last 6 decades. So since India was under the British rule for almost 2 centuries, and the main purpose of the British colonial rule in India was to reduce the country to being a feeder economy for the Great Britain. Okay, so this exploitative nature of the British is very important to understand any kind of assessment and the level of development which the Indian economy has been able to attain over the last 6 decades. Now, low level of economic development under the colonial rule. So, we are going to read about the low level of economic development. Okay, when the low level of economic development happened, that is during the colonial rule. So, low level of economic development under the colonial rule. Under the colonial rule. Let's see what are the development we had during the colonial rule. India had an independent economy before the advent of the British rule. Yes, we know this. So before the Britishers, India had an independent economy. So agriculture was the main source of livelihood for the most people. The country